So coming at you from a slightly different angle, a slightly different seat, using the beautiful natural light as it floods this beautiful building. Really embracing that word sacred right now. What it means to me, and what it might mean to you, and if that helps in any way. The light that shines through, that helps us to see, that warms us, that soothes us, that guides us, that essentially gets us through, right? So as I've shifted my seat and where I'm located, that willingness to kind of adjust and move around with what is, see if you might do the same. Maybe you're very accustomed to where you're seated and you like it, or maybe every session you sit somewhere different. I don't know. Just give yourself the option of moving around a little bit and having a different vantage point, just for a few minutes, right? Shift your focus. Shift your focus. And sometimes it's a matter of just shifting the body, shifting the eye, looking in a slightly different direction. And it's not about ignoring, but realizing there are many options on how to see and on what to see, right? Many options. Nice to see you guys. Feeling quite exhausted. I can't believe it's only Wednesday. I feel like we've lived like a year in these past couple days. Just the intensities of energies, right? I feel like I have a hangover. I don't even drink and I feel like I have a hangover. Let's tune in. And breathe in. Namaste. Namaste. I feel really like we've all been tossed back to day one of COVID. That's how I feel anyway, like showing up and holding space. There's just so much swirling around inside. There's so much emotional upheaval, a lot of overwhelming feelings, difficult to process everything. And what are we processing? There's really nothing to process yet, but just that kind of what is happening is kind of going through me, and I'm kind of feeling it from from everyone. I haven't slept in days because I'm feeling the anxiety of our society. So, I know I'm not alone in that. And I guess the reason why I bring it up is because really the work is always the same. Like it's a moment-to-moment navigation process. 8 months ago, God, has it really been, is that where we're at, 8 months? My goodness. Yeah, it's about 8 months. 8 months ago, the navigation process might have been easier, for us as society. Of course, you as an individual, maybe you were in crisis and going through something great at that time. But essentially just to kind of give us like a baseline, just to kind of like bring us all like in and down for a moment and away from like the scurry and the craziness. The practice, thank you for the hearts. Hi, Patrick. Patrick was with me last night. We had a beautiful gathering together. If anybody would like the recording of that, I can certainly send it to you. Moment-to-moment navigation process. Now that's challenging any day, but especially when your moments feel just so jam-packed, right? Just so overwhelmed. These like giant bullets just like firing cannons of information and stimuli at you, and the what-ifs, right? And the projections, and it's a lot of chaos, right? Just as it was 8 months ago. So I encourage you to be very patient with yourself, right? I'm not even asking you to be patient with the system, like how things get handled, right? Just be patient with yourself. It's a lot to process, it's a lot to take in, it's a lot to handle. But what a gift, right? As always, there's so many beautiful silver linings in this crazy time. One of which is we are learning how to navigate. I mean, in some ways, what choice do we have other than to navigate? It's just too much to deal with and it's lasting too long. So we have to work our way through this experience together. And the easiest way to work our way through this experience is just to accept where we're at right now. And why that becomes challenging, and one of the reasons why I like to hold space for us, is because we feel that challenge together, so we're kind of supporting each other in the endeavor, in the attempt of accepting where we're at. And what gets in the way is our own stubbornness and our own likes and our own preferences, which we have a right to have, right, as a human being. So it gets very confusing because it's like, stand up, have a voice, say what's right, say what's not, fight kind of thing. And yes, we're finally, like I was saying last night, we're finally lifting up the veil. We're picking up the rug where all the crap has been hidden underneath. We're like, look at that shit, right? It's like, yeah! But at the same time, as we do that, the consequences of that experience, the compromise, I'm at a loss for words because I didn't sleep. It'll come to me in a moment. But as we have this kind of mess underneath us, then it's like, okay, how do I let myself be in a bit of a mess right now? Because nobody wants that. So, one alternative is to go, tighten yourself up and close yourself down, but you're just gonna like exhaust yourself and suffocate, right? So there's gotta be some other options, right? The tension is pretty thick right now, and think about human tendency, we hold tightly when we feel most afraid or most insecure. Like when something's at stake, we hold tightly, Even like those of you that watch sports games, right? Like if it's that like crucial hour, crucial moment, and you're like waiting for the guy to kick the field goal thingy to see if you win the game, like you're like this, right? Like something's at stake. And it's because you want it. It's because you are attached to what you like and what you want. And none of this is bad. But this whole experience is giving us an opportunity to just have a look at how we have relationship to difficulty. Because there's a lot of difficulty right now. And within that observation of having a look at how we handle difficulty, we might start to realize we have choices. And maybe we spend, 23 hours of the day clenched and waiting and like, come on and let's get this over with, and full of fear, full of anger, etc., which is, part of this path, right? But maybe there's an hour in your day where you're just like, let me open up, let me surrender, let me soften, let me breathe with this life that I'm living right now in such a way that I realize that there is more there, other than my anxiety, other than my anger, other than my insecurity, other than my impatience. I often say at the studio, we do show up for the maybes. We show up for, the work is about the possibility of opening, the chance that you might feel something else other than the grip and the clench. The opportunity to have a reprieve and a few moments of ease and peace. And that's worth it, right? To just have a break. So where that comes from, how that enters the possibility of the practice, the realm of the journey, is realizing you are more than what has got a hold of you right now, right? I'm sure the grip is very tight, right? The concern can create a clamp. Right? I've been kind of using this image lately, this clamp down on us. The concern can create the clamp. Like, for example, this is like such a base level, non-important example, but it's about human tendency. Today when I was walking here, I had this shirt in my hand. I had another shirt on. I had this shirt in my hand. It was cleaned, and I was bringing it back to the studio, and typically I put all my laundry in a bag and walk it back in a big sack, and for some reason today I just grabbed this one shirt and I had it in my hand, and my walk is about 20 minutes door to door. And about halfway through, I had the shirt under my arm, and about halfway through my walk I realized like I had so much tension in holding that shirt. Like I was like this. And it's because I really loved this shirt and I didn't want to lose it, right? So this is like a moment. Patrick's laughing at me. That's my favorite little icon emoji thing. I don't know if you guys see the same things I do. The one with the big laughing mouth. I love that one. Anyway, the need to keep this shirt tight, right? The concern that is based on attachment created the clench, right? Like it's like that the hungry, poverty-stricken person that's holding so tightly that last grain of rice because they know that if it's gone, it's really gone. So they hold tighter and tighter and tighter. And like this is where we're at right now. We're holding so tightly to what we want. We're holding so tightly to what we want, right? And once again, this is not bad. This is just human tendency. But there are other options. So first we have to notice how tightly we're holding, right? First we have to notice how tightly we're holding. We have to forgive ourselves, right? Yes, it would be nice if we could forgive the system and society, the paradigms, etc. But right now, let's just start with forgiving ourselves for holding so tightly, for being very attached to what we want, and to understand why that is. There's something very great at stake right now. It makes complete sense that we're holding tightly. But secondly, and perhaps a little bit more importantly, or at least more beneficially, let's realize there's more there other than. I know it's a lot. I know it can envelop our existence, right? It's an overwhelming time. But there is more to us than that overwhelming sensation that is going through us, right? So we hold space for the possibility of having a moment of peace. We hold space for the opportunity to make some room inside so that for a few moments we could have a little lightening of the load, a little brevity. There's somebody put a post on social media that made me laugh today, and I was so grateful for the laugh. I was so grateful for the laugh. And the post, maybe you've seen it, it was, make sure you put your voting sticker under your pillow so the voting fairy can leave you a Xanax. I just thought that was really funny. I mean, it's like, laughing at something that tragic, right? Maybe that's in poor taste, I don't know. But it gave me an inner chuckle, which lightened my load for 3 seconds, and amen. Something else moved through other than, right? So that's what we hold space for. The possibility of some air, the possibility of a moment of lightness, the possibility of realizing we are more than this big clamp of concern. So let's inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. It's neat because, the light is changing and it just reminds us again of the possibility of change, right? One more. And even though we're probably all joined together in the hope and in the deep concern for the change of the social system, we can still change within, regardless of the outcome. We can still walk this earth as good human beings, making a difference, right? There's more other than that one thing that has a hold on us. And find your seat in such a way that you can drop deeply into it. So be smart about what it is you're sitting on, where you're seated, in such a way that you can drop some of the heavy load, that you can release some of that clench, some of what you are attached to most, some of what you want so desperately. See if you can give it some breath, give it some air, give it some space. Let it go just a little bit, right? It's still going to be there when you're done, right? What good is it going to do you right now to hold it tightly? Soften your heart. Soften the front of your brain at your brow, from ear to ear and from temple to temple. I know mine has just been so clamped lately, right? I'm sure yours is as well. Release through the hairline and the scalp. And swallow a couple times, soften the throat, relax the jaw. Release the muscles under the eye, where the cheekbone is. And then choose what to do with your gaze in such a way that your focus can call your attention inward. So a lot of us like to close our eyes, but I just want to remind you that as you close your eyes, you don't have to push this world out, right? You don't have to force the scenario and the circumstance away in order to go in, right? You can just let life happen and be as you make the choice to go in. And once you get in, allow yourself to submerge. It's like very, very slowly climbing down some steps into a very safe place. Maybe it's a cool place, maybe it's a safe basement, I don't know if that resonates, or maybe it's a warm pool of water. And you're just slowly allowing yourself to submerge under the layers of chaos, right? So the chaos is on top. The chaos is the top layer of the self. There are so many other layers for us to discover, right? There's more than, right? Just that one thing happening right now. It's just got a big hold on us and we're trying to release it. Release the hold as you submerge down and drop in. And then make sure you notice your breathing. Try not to judge your breath. It might be a little shallow today. It might be a little harsh today. So be it. You are a human having a relationship to the world. But please notice that you are breathing. And then start to soften as best you can. So, you're in safe space. I trust you're in safe space. No matter how much you can generate the bullets in the scenario outside the self, keep dropping in and down until you get to a safe place where you can unguard, where you can dissolve the hypervigilance for just a few moments. And as you soften from your skin to your innards, notice that that breath is right there. And start to meet it in such a way that you are supporting the breath as the breath supports you. That you are starting to work together in conjunction with partnership to the breath. This is the yoga, the union. So your mind is occupied on the breath. The breath is feeding the mind. And then give yourself time to discover that there's space inside you. There's room to breathe inside. You've taken shelter, you've taken refuge deep inside and underneath. It's like crawling into a real safe space while the battleground is still crazy. That's sanctuary. And you can go a little deeper into the breath without rushing it, without forcing it. And slow it in such a way that it begins to soothe your nervous system. It begins to be a nerve tonic. Now try to do this without too much effort. And slowing the breath in such a way that you can sense the medicine of it. That it's promoting a sense of ease inside, right? You're starting to feel and experience something else other than. There's room for that because you are a whole person. You are not only this one circumstance that happens to be occurring right now. Breathe your way into the wholeness of feeling a human. A human that is resilient, a human that is whole, a human that is more than, other than, ... And then we'll go a little further, emptying from the underbelly. And slowly breathe in. Gently retain in. Gradually breathe out. Gently retain in. Slowly breathe in. Gently retain in. Gradually breathe out. Gently retain in. With full consciousness and great awareness, inhale. Retain. Exhale. Retain. Inhale. Retain. Exhale. Retain. So a few more moments here as we sit in great observance of this breath. As it moves through us, there's space for it to move. Maybe the clamp has been lifted just a little bit. Maybe the hold is not so desperately tight, right? We can still passionately embody. We can still root. We can still pray. We will most definitely continue to worry and be of great concern, but there is more to us other than just that, right? Open yourself up. Open yourself up. Experience what it is like to be alive in your breath right now. Holding space for yourself to feel the whole gamut, the whole range of who you are right now. And I trust that you have come to realize that you are more than just that one concern, as grave as it is. Stay with the breath. Release the hold. Hands to the heart. So from your heart, send it out. Breathe in. Send it out in such a way that you are aware it has a healing power, that you can heal and recover from the trauma thus far. And breathe in. Coming to realize that our work on this planet is not done, not nearly done. We keep going. We keep opening to possibility. Breathe in. Namaste. So, what we're experiencing right now in its intense time, in its intense form, is certainly not the first time a human being, as a culture, a human family, has gone through difficult, epic time, right? Look back in history, right? So in some ways it's a great privilege, right? It's a great privilege. So we kind of flip it in such a way that the preference, the privilege goes over the preference. The privilege goes over the preference. And as we all have work to do individually on the self and as a culture and as a nation, it's got to start with us, right? So it can't just be like out there all the time, right? Something's got to change inside, right? Something's got to shift kind of molecularly so that we have a different relationship to our reality in such a way that we can be good and do good, right? So this is, this comes with the territory. That's the phrase I was looking for way back when I had a little mini stroke from not sleeping. It comes with the territory of being a human, that we're going to be asked to embrace some difficult times. We're just learning how to navigate them. We're going to get through this. And there's more happening other than just that, right? So try to just see the broader picture. Shift your position, where you show up today from, how you look at the world today, even if it's just for another minute, right? Thank you. Thank you for being part of this Sangha, this community. And thank you for any contributions that do come in. I'm grateful, sustaining myself on them. And so many beautiful gifts have come through this crazy time, so many silver linings. Day-to-day, moment-to-moment navigation. Day-to-day, moment-to-moment navigation. Right? That's going to stay the same until the day we die. It's just we have to pay more attention to that practice, that tool, that mantra, if you will, that mind awareness, day-to-day, moment-to-moment navigation. Be present. Learn to embrace the moment, regardless if you like it or not, right? Because, fighting it is only going to exhaust you, right? You did your job. You stood up, right? You stood up. You walked to the polls, etc., right? Thank you for the hearts, my love. Nice to see you all. I'll be on Zoom this evening for Yin. So Yin teaches us how to receive. Yin teaches us how to receive something that can be extremely beneficial right now, 7 p.m. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live with an easy heart. Namaste.